me on. My dad put me on a 1960 silver sparkle Ludwig kit. He's a vintage collector, remember? So he loves a
Yeah.
Ludwig, and he loves the 50s, 60s, and back. 70s was always my thing, because I like all the experimental drums that
Yeah.
Ludwig did in the 60s,
Hmm.
or the
Hmm.
70s, I mean. 70s, I feel like that psychedelic era and that rock and roll era really brought in, like,
The
oh,
Ludwig
let's
Black
put
Beauty
fish in
snare.
the drums and let's put lights in the drums and
Yeah.
let's make them see through. It's
Yeah.
like just the crazier raps, the
Yeah.
Vista lights. I'm a huge fan of the Vistas.
The John Bonham Brown ones and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and my dad has almost every kit that John Bonham had, replica, like from the '70s Ludwig stuff.
Does he have
But
anything Oyster from like the Ringo era?
no, Dad
No?
was more
Okay.
of the. Now Dad loves the Beatles, but
Uh-huh.
he was more of the Jimi Hendrix and the psychedelic stuff. So,
Okay. Okay.
um,
Cream and all that stuff.
oh yeah, Ginger
Okay.
Baker. We
Yeah.
that the kit that he has is basically a replica of the Ginger Baker. It's the
Cool.
Silver Sparkle kit, and he has 226 kicks with
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
that he special ordered back then. And he bought them in the '70s, so it was like
Yeah.
they're authentic. But
That's cool.
but he also got a like I think he said a 18-inch bop. You can switch it out if you want
Hmm.
big rock or you want small. But the kid I grew up on, his kid,
Hmm.
that particular silver spud is like a 13 piece. He's got every inch, but he's even got a 20-inch because I just
Okay.
talked to Jim about that. I was like, I didn't realize. So back then, Ludwig put real silver in their drums. So these
Hmm.
drums that I'm talking about have real silver in them.
Hmm.
Nowadays, they don't do that. They just make
Yeah.
the wrap, right? But I was looking the other day at a music store. They had an 18-inch, and that's the only one he's missing. And I was like, man, it'd be cool to get that. You know how much those run now?
Probably 6 grand.
$2,000
Okay.
for
Okay.
18-inch. Just one tom.
Yeah.
That's the original silvers.
Yeah.
But he is all the way to the 20-inch floor
Okay.
tom.
Okay.
So we had a drum room when I was growing up, and my dad being a drummer,
Hmm.
and I was always a late night kid. Total musician in me. And if I would not get up to go to school in the morning, then Dad would go next door to start drum soloing, and that's how I woke up, literally. And so I literally. Uh, have gotten to now where I can sleep through drums because I've taught myself how to do that. But I want to go back to the kit. So the kit I
Yeah.
play now, though, my dad got me a kit when I was, I don't know, 11 or 12 at a pawn shop. This was well before the internet or cell phones and all that, right? We went to a pawn shop and they had a '70s Black Panther kit, a Ludwig
Okay.
Black Panther. If you don't know what those are a leather patent wrap on them. They're from the '70s. They're really rare because what happened was in 1976 they decided to do the centennial
Hmm.
uh, wood Ludwig wood kits, and they engraved an eagle on the wood. Well, they didn't sell very much, so they didn't do very many of them. And then what they did was they took a black leather wrap and decided to just wrap them with black leather and resell them as the Black Panther kit. So it has a patent leather wrap on it, but if you have the eagles engraved on the wood underneath, they are very, very, very sought after and very expensive. I've never checked the wood because my wrap is perfect and I don't want to hurt
Yeah. You
that.
want to?
But I've been playing on them since probably 12 or 13 since we got them at a pawn shop. And I don't think that the pawn shop, either they weren't that sought after back then or they didn't know
They didn't
back then.
know.
I think it's they didn't know
Wonder if you
because
could X-ray it.
I thought about that. There's got to be some kind of device that
Yeah, there
would
has
like
to be.
scan it underneath
Yeah.
because I would love to know if I have a set of those. I
Yeah.
think there's only like 1,000 or something that was made at one point, and I've only ever seen like two other drum kits that look like it. But yeah, I've been playing those literally, and you'll crack up. When I was younger, I didn't know what I had. I didn't know
Yeah.
before I educated myself on learning drums. Um, I was teaching at Mom's Music, and I mean, in my 20s, I was in punk rock bands. I would throw them in the back of the truck. It'd be raining, no cases, like all this stuff, and just go driving down the interstate with them in the very back of a pickup truck. And didn't know what I had. And I happened to take them into Mom's Music one day, and Marvin Maxwell was there, who owned the store, and he's traveled with everybody, and everybody knows Marvin. So he's like the Hal Blaine of Louisville, is how I
Okay.
describe
Okay.
him.
Nice.
Everybody knows him. He
Yeah.
played with Dick Clark Caravan of Tours, and he was one of my mentors, and he
Mhm.
owned the drum shop there, and he's still around. I don't know how old he is, but he's still hanging. He's retired, but I see him on there playing paradiddles and stuff every now and then. But he taught me a lot, and he knew vintage drums really well. And he said, "You know what you got here?" And I was like, "No," And he was like, "Girl," and he starts to educate me, And I'm like, "Oh, I might want to get cases for these drums." Like,
And then it
so
sucks because now
then,
you're nervous playing them and everything. Now, like I just beat
not
the hell out of
now.
them
No,
before. Now
I
I'm
mean,
like
I always
getting them
feel like
soft.
I did when I was 12. I beat the shit out of them. I've done some stuff to them. I've bent the heads, bent
Yeah.
the rims. I've done a lot of stuff to them over the years, but I've had them since I'm 13 and I'm 47 now.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's how long I've been playing them. And I call them my babies.
Yeah.
I have a couple of other kits too, but my main one is the 70s Ludwig Black Panther kit. I do have a 70s Vista kit that's baby blue. The blue ones there, see through.
Hmm.
And my dad has the wooden ones and the stainless steel ones, and he's got a lot of other snare drums and other kits and things like that. But that's the one that I play. It's the one I'm the most comfortable on, and I
Hmm.
love to play my own drums. I know they always
Yeah.
have house kits, and I'm like, no. I've
Yeah.
seen after touring and seeing some of these house kits, I'm like, yeah, I'll never. You say you got a house kit, I'll bring my own stuff.
Exactly.